Stop everything you're doing. Forget the lies you've been told about relationships. Forget the toxic advice about money, looks, or some magical pickup line. These are distractions, shadows on the wall of a deeper, unseen reality. What if I told you that you've been approaching relationships from the wrong angle all along? That the so-called rules for attracting women are nothing more than myths designed to keep you running in circles. Here's a truth most men will never hear, let alone understand. Women don't truly care about your six-pack, your paycheck, or your car. Sure, those things might catch their eye for a moment, but they're fleeting, surface-level distractions. What women are drawn to is far deeper, far simpler, and far more powerful. And yet 99% of men will never uncover this truth. They'll keep chasing, they'll keep failing, and they'll keep wondering why their efforts never seem to work. But you're different. You're here because you're ready to step off that exhausting hamster wheel. You're about to learn the secrets that will transform your entire approach to relationships. Forever. Imagine this becoming the man she can't stop thinking about. The man who occupies her mind no matter who she's with or where she goes. Not because you've tricked her, but because you've become irresistible in the most authentic way possible. It's time to stop playing by the rules of weak men. If you think buying her gifts or endlessly complimenting her beauty will make her obsessed with you, you're already on the wrong path. That strategy doesn't work because it screams neediness, and neediness repels. Here's what you need to understand. Women are wired to crave strength. Not just physical strength, but emotional and mental fortitude. They're drawn to men who don't need them to feel whole. Men who are completely and utterly in control of themselves. When you stop chasing, when you stop seeking their validation, you shift the dynamic entirely. You become a man who radiates power, self-control, and mystery. And women, whether they realize it or not, find themselves drawn to that energy like a moth to a flame. But how do you embody this kind of power? How do you become the man who doesn't just get noticed but stays unforgettable? That's where the wisdom of Stoicism comes in. This isn't about trickery or manipulation. It's about mastering yourself. It's about becoming a man so confident, so centered, and so in control of his emotions that she can't help but be drawn to you. If you're ready to change your life, stick with me for the next few minutes. I'll show you step by step how to flip the script. Together, we'll dive into the ancient principles of Stoicism, the timeless philosophy of self-mastery, and apply it in a way that will transform not just your relationships, but your entire perspective on life. Before we dive in, take a moment to subscribe to Invincible Within, your go-to channel for unlocking your inner power. If this resonates with you, comment below, "I'm deserve," and let me know you're ready to embrace the man you were meant to be. Make sure you stay until the end, because this isn't just another quick fix. It's a life-altering shift in how you see yourself and the world around you. And don't forget to share this video with a friend who needs to hear this message. Let's get started. Number 1. Through control and confidence, most men, though they may not realize it, are at the mercy of their emotions. They allow these emotions to dictate their thoughts, decisions, and actions, especially in relationships. Picture this: you send her a message, and she doesn't reply immediately. Suddenly, your mind goes into overdrive. What went wrong? Did I say something inappropriate? Is she losing interest? These thoughts spiral into a state of anxiety, leaving you questioning your self-worth. This isn't just overthinking, it's emotional instability. The core problem lies in letting your emotions dictate your behavior. When you lose control, you not only compromise your sense of self, but also signal insecurity to others, especially women. Women are highly perceptive of emotional instability. They desire a partner who can remain composed, a man whose demeanor reflects strength and confidence, no matter the situation. This is where Stoicism becomes your greatest ally. At its essence, Stoicism emphasizes control over one's inner world, thoughts, emotions, and actions, while accepting that external events lie beyond our influence. Imagine the empowerment that comes with this mindset. You stop reacting impulsively to every external trigger and begin responding thoughtfully and intentionally. Here's why this matters with women. They notice when a man doesn't flinch under pressure or when faced with uncertainty. This unshakable demeanor isn't just admirable, it's magnetic. When you exhibit emotional control, you set yourself apart from the crowd of men who are constantly on edge, seeking validation. Women respect and, more importantly, are drawn to a man who can remain calm and collected. Let's bring this concept to life. Imagine you've been texting a woman you're interested in. The conversation has been going well, but one day, she suddenly stops responding. Hours go by, maybe even a day. For most men, this scenario would trigger panic. They'd obsessively check their phones, dissecting every word they sent, trying to pinpoint where they went wrong. Then comes the follow-up message. Hey, did you get my last text? Or worse, did I do something wrong? These reactions stem from insecurity and emotional dependence. But what message does this send? It tells her that you're placing your sense of self-worth in her hands, that her response dictates your emotional state. This is a major turnoff because it signals neediness. Now consider how a Stoic man would handle the same situation. Instead of spiraling into self-doubt, he remains calm. He understands that her response, or lack thereof, has no bearing on his intrinsic value. He continues to focus on his life, his goals, passions, and personal growth. When she eventually does respond, and she likely will, he greets her message with the same composed demeanor, unfazed by the delay. By doing this, you demonstrate self-assurance. You're showing her that your world doesn't revolve around her actions. This emotional independence makes you stand out. She starts to wonder, why isn't he reacting the way most men do? This intrigue leads her to think about you more, building curiosity and, ultimately, attraction. The key here is detachment. Not from her as a person, but from the outcome. When you no longer rely on her responses to validate your worth, you free yourself from the chains of insecurity. This doesn't mean ignoring her or playing games. It's about maintaining your composure and projecting the message that your happiness is self-sourced. When you master this level of emotional control, you exude a quiet confidence that speaks volumes. Women don't just notice this, they respect it. And with respect comes attraction. Number 2, why most men fail. The desperation trap. Desperation is the kryptonite of attraction. It's the silent killer of relationships, often unrecognized until it's too late. When you're desperate for someone's attention, constantly seeking their approval, you unknowingly surrender your power. Women are exceptionally attuned to this energy. Desperation to them feels like a flashing neon sign that reads, I need you to validate me. The moment a woman senses that her presence or approval is the cornerstone of your emotional stability, her interest wanes. Why? Because desperation is rooted in weakness, and weakness is inherently unattractive. Women are biologically wired to seek strength in a partner. Strength of character, confidence, and self-reliance. Many men believe that the more effort they put into gaining a woman's attention, the more she'll appreciate them. They'll bombard her with texts, shower her with compliments, and react to every social media post. But here's the harsh truth. The more you try to force connection, the more you repel her. She begins to see you as just another guy clamoring for her validation, blending into the sea of admirers she's already accustomed to. Desperation isn't just unattractive, it's exhausting. A woman doesn't want to feel like she's the axis around which your world revolves. She wants a partner, not a follower. Breaking free from the desperation trap requires a shift in how you approach attention. Let's take a common scenario. You follow a woman on social media. Every time she posts a photo, you're one of the first to like it. You might even leave a comment, hoping to catch her eye. But guess what? So are dozens, if not hundreds, of other men. You've become part of the crowd, indistinguishable from the rest. Here's how you set yourself apart: you do nothing. That's right. Don't like the photo, don't comment, and certainly don't bring it up in conversation. This isn't about playing games. It's about showing her that your attention isn't something she can take for granted. By withholding it, you make your interest more meaningful. When you stop reacting to every post or seeking constant interaction, something remarkable happens. She starts to notice your absence amidst the noise. She begins to wonder, why isn't he engaging like the others? This curiosity plants a seed of intrigue, making her think about you more. This isn't just about her, it's about you. When you stop giving away your attention so freely, you reinforce its value. You're telling her, and yourself, that you're not desperate for her validation, because your self-worth isn't tied to her approval. This shift in mindset makes you stand out as a man who values himself. You're no longer chasing. Instead, you're inviting her to meet you halfway. And when she sees that your life is rich with purpose, filled with your own goals, passions, and achievements, she'll view you through a new lens. You're no longer just another man vying for her attention. You're the man who inspires her respect and desire. Number 3. The power of ignoring her. To truly understand the power of ignoring her, we must first delve into the psychology behind it. At its core, ignoring her at the right moments isn't about playing games or being manipulative. It's about breaking the predictable patterns that most men fall into. Women are accustomed to receiving constant attention. In today's world of instant messaging, social media likes, and 24/7 connectivity, they're often bombarded with validation. When you're the man who steps away from this norm, who doesn't instantly respond, who doesn't always engage, it's as though you've flipped a switch in her mind. Suddenly, you're no longer one of the countless men vying for her approval. You become an enigma. The key here lies in creating imbalance of attention. It's human nature to desire what feels scarce or uncertain. If she knows she has your undivided attention at all times, it diminishes its value. By contrast, when your attention feels rare and earned, it becomes something she actively seeks. When you ignore her strategically, you introduce an element of curiosity and challenge. This taps into a psychological principle called the reward uncertainty effect. People are more likely to be drawn towards something when they're unsure of the outcome. It's why cliffhangers in TV shows keep us hooked, or why a rare piece of art is seen as more valuable. In the context of relationships, by not being overly available, you're signaling that your time and energy are valuable. You're showing that your world doesn't revolve around her. Women respect and admire men who have their own priorities and goals. Men who don't drop everything just to gain their favor. Now, ignoring her doesn't mean outright ghosting or being cold. It's about timing and context. For example, let's say she's been distant lately, pulling back from your conversations or seeming less enthusiastic. Most men in this situation would overcompensate. They double down on messages, try to fix things, or express insecurity. A stoic man does the opposite. Instead of chasing, he pauses. He allows space for her to come back on her terms. This communicates quiet confidence, a belief that he's worth her effort, and that her pullback doesn't shake his foundation. To make this approach natural, you must genuinely focus on yourself during these moments. Dive into a hobby, work on a personal project, or spend time with friends. The goal isn't to play hard to get, but to truly be hard, because you're a man with a life full of purpose and passion. By ignoring her at the right moments, you achieve 3 powerful outcomes. 1. Curiosity. She starts to wonder why you're different. What's so important that you're not chasing her? This intrigue builds attraction. 2. Respect. She realizes you value yourself and your time. This earns her respect as it shows strength and self-assuredness. 3. Desire. When your attention becomes less predictable, it becomes something she craves, rather than something she expects. Consider this example. If you're always the first to reply or initiate, she knows she doesn't have to work for your attention. But if you give her space after she's been distant, she's forced to reflect. She might start questioning why you're not reacting like other men, which makes her see you in a new light. This dynamic doesn't just set you apart. It elevates you in her eyes. You're not the guy chasing endlessly. You're the guy she wants to chase. Number 4, developing a fearless mindset. If you want to stand out as a man, one of the most powerful traits you can cultivate is fearlessness. Fear, whether it's fear of rejection, fear of failure, or fear of losing someone, has a way of seeping into your actions and undermining your confidence. And confidence, as we know, is a cornerstone of attraction. Let's face it, most men are driven by fear. They're afraid of saying the wrong thing, of being too forward, or of not being good enough. This fear manifests in neediness, desperation, and overthinking. It causes them to second-guess themselves at every turn, which is the antithesis of what women find attractive. Women are drawn to strength, emotional, mental, and physical. When they sense fear or insecurity, it's a turn-off because it signals instability. Conversely, a man who exudes confidence, who isn't fazed by the prospect of rejection or failure, becomes magnetic. Stoicism teaches us that fear arises when we focus on things beyond our control. Rejection. You can't control whether she accepts or declines you. Her feelings. You can't dictate how she perceives you. What you can control, however, is your mindset. A Stoic man embraces rejection as part of life. He knows it doesn't diminish his value. Whether she stays or leaves, his self-worth remains intact because it's rooted in his character, not external validation. This mindset creates a paradox: the less you fear losing her, the more likely she is to want you. Fearless men project strength, independence, and self-sufficiency, all qualities women admire and desire. 1. Shift your perspective on rejection. View rejection as redirection. If one door closes, it's simply guiding you toward a better opportunity. Every interaction, whether it succeeds or not, is a learning experience. 2. Detach from outcomes. Instead of obsessing over whether she likes you, focus on whether you like her. This subtle shift puts you in a position of power and self-respect. 3. Embrace the worst case scenario. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? Often, the fear of rejection is far worse than the actual event. By confronting the worst case scenario in your mind, you take away its power. A fearless man operates from a place of abundance. He's not desperate for anyone's approval because he knows he's enough as he is. This abundance mindset is intoxicating to women. It signals that you're not just confident, you're secure. Imagine this scenario: a woman begins to pull back. Most men would panic and cling tighter, but a fearless man lets her go without flinching. He knows his worth, and he knows that if she doesn't return, it's her loss, not his. This calm detachment forces her to reevaluate. Why isn't he reacting? Why isn't he chasing? Suddenly the dynamic shifts. She starts to pursue you, not out of manipulation, but because your fearlessness makes you undeniably attractive. Number 5. Master rejection and becoming unshakable. Rejection is an inevitable part of life, relationships, and personal growth. Yet for many men, it becomes a stumbling block, a source of self-doubt and insecurity. They internalize rejection, allowing it to chip away at their confidence and define their worth. But here's the truth: rejection is never about you. Rejection reflects the other person's preferences, circumstances, or mood. It says more about them than it does about you. A Stoic man understands this and reframes rejection as an opportunity to grow, not a reason to retreat. Every instance of rejection is a building block for resilience, a chance to refine yourself and become unshakable. Imagine this scenario. You approach someone at a social event, hoping to start a conversation, but they're disinterested. Most men would walk away feeling embarrassed, their confidence shaken, perhaps even swearing off similar interactions in the future. But not you. Instead, you smile, thank them for their time, and move on with your head held high. Why? Because you know their rejection doesn't define your worth. It's just a moment, a fleeting interaction among countless opportunities. Rejection, when embraced, becomes a source of immense power. Think of it as the gym for your emotional fortitude. Each no you hear builds the mental muscle of resilience, teaching you to stand tall no matter the outcome. And when you begin to master rejection, you exude a quiet, unyielding confidence that women, and people in general, find irresistible. Here's the difference. Most men let rejection chip away at their self-esteem, but Stoic men use it as fuel. Each rejection becomes a reminder that their worth isn't tied to external validation. They are confident in who they are, and that confidence radiates like a beacon. Women notice. They notice when you handle rejection with grace, when you don't flinch or falter. They notice when your sense of self-worth isn't dependent on their approval. And that strength, that calm self-assurance, sets you apart from every other man vying for their attention. True confidence comes from within. It's not about how others perceive you. It's about how you perceive yourself. When you build your confidence on the solid foundation of self-respect and resilience, rejection no longer feels like a loss. It feels like an inevitable step toward success. Here's the beauty of mastering rejection: it frees you. It liberates you from the fear of judgment, the need for constant approval, and the anxiety of what if. When you no longer fear rejection, you open yourself up to new experiences, new opportunities, and new connections. You become bold, fearless, and unstoppable. And that energy is magnetic. The essence of Stoicism lies in control, not of yourself. It's about mastering your emotions, reactions, and mindset. When you embrace Stoic principles, you become the man who doesn't chase validation, who doesn't crumble under pressure, and who doesn't let rejection define him. Women are naturally drawn to men who stand firm in their self-worth. They are attracted to men who don't seek completeness through others, but instead project a sense of wholeness and purpose. This is the man who stands out, the man who becomes irresistible without resorting to games or pretense. Now that you've explored these transformative principles, it's time to take action. Stop letting fear and rejection hold you back. Start applying Stoic wisdom to every aspect of your life. If this message resonates with you, show your commitment and subscribe to Invincible Within for more empowering insights. Tan comment, I'm deserve, if you're ready to embrace this journey. And tan like this video and share it with friends who need to hear this. This is your moment to take control, to redefine your life, and to step into your full potential. The power is in your hands. Are you ready to claim it?